our next story is about Russia. It is ramping up its nuclear muscle even as it mocks America's threats. According to a report on Business Insider, Russia has been quietly constructing 5 secret nuclear bases, a development that is sure to send chills down the spines of NATO countries and raise fears that Moscow is preparing for a long, drawn-out confrontation with the West. Take a look at this map on your screens right now. It shows the 5 places where these facilities are located. And these are, let me name it for you, Kaliningrad, Kamchatka, Nova Zemlya, Osipovichi, which is in Belarus, and Gadzhikova in Murmansk in the Arctic Circle. And the Kremlin's message is extremely clear. Former President Dmitry Medvedev called US's new Ukraine policy a theatrical ultimatum, and behind the scenes, Russia is busy building up its nuclear infrastructure at breakneck speed. Let's zoom in first to Ospivochi base in Belarus. According to this report, a high security facility is being built here with triple fencing, unloading ramps and rail links for nuclear warhead deliveries. Further north, in Russia's Arctic region of Murmansk, Gadzhikova facility is being built. It is located near the NATO countries of Norway and Finland. And Russia is expanding its naval base home to submarines armed with intercontinental nuclear missiles. And according to this report, Russia is constructing at least 6 new buildings this year alone. In Kaliningrad, Russia's Baltic outpost bordering NATO nations, it is reportedly reinforcing its tactical nuclear storage bunkers with new layers of security. And then, in Kamchatka, on Russia's far eastern edge, satellite images reportedly show new buildings as well as new fortified nuclear storage sites under construction. And lastly, in Novaya Zemlya, in the Arctic, massive new structures and tunnel expansions have been seen, pointing to a major nuclear buildup in the region. Remember now, Russia currently has over 4,300 active nuclear warheads, which is the world's largest stockpile. Meanwhile, the Kremlin is doubling down on its warnings. On Wednesday, spokesperson Dmitry Peskov slammed U.S. arms supplies to Ukraine as a profit-driven enterprise. He also asserted Russia's updated nuclear doctrine, declaring that any attack by non-nuclear state is backed by nuclear power, will be treated as a joint assault. These warnings and reports of secret alleged upgrades come as the U.S. president threatens fresh tariffs against Russia as well as arms sales to Ukraine, raising fears that the Kremlin's nuclear saber rattling could be more than just mere rhetoric. Staying on with stories from the United States of America, a series of new apps are doing rounds in the U.S. Well, they neither give you the directions of a place you don't know of, nor they help you with retail suggestions there. But what they do is far more serious. They raise alarm whenever an immigration officer is around. In the U.S., these apps have become somewhat of a rage, with many increasingly turning to such applications in the wake of U.S. President Donald Trump's crackdown on illegal immigrants. What do these apps do, by the way? That's the question. Well, number one, they alert migrants living legally or illegally in America of the location of immigration and customs enforcement officers, also known as ICE agents. One such is ICE Block, a mobile app allowing people to report sightings of ICE agents in their community. But how does this perhaps work? As per the app owner, Joshua Aaron, it just takes 2 taps to report a sighting within 5 miles of someone's current location. And other users of the community around the same radius also get a notification alert almost immediately. Who can then avoid the said location? Best part is that they can remain absolutely anonymous while reporting these instances. Another app called Kokoi, developed recently, performed somewhat of a similar function. And given the spike of immigration raids reported across America, these apps are fast gaining ground among undocumented migrants who are downloading them out of fear for deportation. However, most of these apps are now directly under Trump's radar. According to Fox News, Attorney General Pam Bondi slammed one of these apps, saying it could perhaps cause federal agents to be injured or targeted and risk their safety on field, on the ground. In a statement, the director of ICE, Todd M. Loyan, raised concerns regarding immigration officers and agents facing a 500% increase in assaults because of all these apps. In a recent tweet, U.S. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem confirmed the attacks against ICE officers to have risen to a staggering 830%. And that's earlier this month. Noem stated that she is working with the Justice Department to pull a plug on such apps. In the light of all of this, the question is, will such a technology hold water or perhaps fizzle out in the future? India's diplomatic offensive against Pakistan-backed terror is paying off. The United States of America has officially designated the Resistance Front, or the TRF, as a foreign terrorist organization and specially designated global terrorist outfit. Yes, you heard that right. It's been nearly 3 months since the horrific Pahalgam massacre, where TRF terrorists, Pakistan-backed Lashkar proxies, killed 26 innocent civilians. Since then, India launched Operation Sindoor, combining precision military strikes on terror camps in Pakistan with a powerful diplomatic offensive. And today, the world brands TRF as the Pahalgam killers, as America officially declares them global terrorists, vindicating India's long-standing campaign against Pakistani terror outfits. India's Minister of External Affairs welcomed the move, calling TRF a proxy of Pakistan-based Lashkar-e-Taiba on X. India's Foreign Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar hailed what he called a strong affirmation of India-US counter-terror cooperation. Remember, the TRF carried out the Pahalgam massacre on April 22nd, killing 26 tourists in Jammu and Kashmir. India said the attack was a conspiracy hatched by Pakistan's ISI and Lashkar-e-Taiba and executed by Pakistani terrorists. The U.S. State Department said that this decision reflected the Trump administration's commitment to national security and Trump's call for justice after the Pahalgam attack. U.S. added TRF to LET's designation under Section 219 of the Immigration and Nationality Act and Executive Order 13224. Earlier, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio had said that this move shows U.S. resolve to counter terror and uphold security interests. Following the attack, India had launched a major diplomatic campaign under Operation Sindoor, targeting terror bases in Pakistan and also sending a delegation to the United Nations demanding TRF's designation. Although the UN Security Council condemned the Pahalgam attack on April 25th, it perhaps stopped short of naming TRF. The issue also featured at the July 2nd Quad Foreign Ministers meeting in Washington, D.C., where the attack was strongly condemned. India's foreign ministry called the designation a timely step reflecting deep cooperation between India and the US, asserting New Delhi's zero-tolerance policy towards terror. Meanwhile, India is also ramping up its defense capabilities from submarine rescue vessels to missile tests. India is marking a powerful show of strength. And just today, Indian Navy commissioned Nistar. It is the first indigenously designed and constructed diving support vessel, and it was commissioned into the Indian Navy today in Visakhapatnam. The ship is designed to undertake complex deep-sea saturation diving as well as rescue operations, a capability select navies possess across the globe. Built by Hindustan Shipyard Limited, it measures 118 meters, displaces over 10,000 tons. INS Nistar is installed with state-of-the-art diving equipment such as remotely operated vehicles, self-propelled hyperbaric lifeboat, and also diving compression chambers. It can further undertake diving and salvage operations up to 300 meters depth. It would also serve as a mothership for deep submergence rescue vessel in a bid to rescue and evacuate personnel. And that's not all. Within just 24 hours, India also successfully test-fired 3 major missile systems, strengthening its strategic firepower. On July 16th, the Army tested the upgraded Akash surface-to-air missile in Ladakh at over 15,000 feet altitude, a challenging environment with low oxygen and high winds. Akash Prime can neutralize fighter jets, cruise missiles and drones up to 35 kilometers range and 20 kilometers altitude. And just yesterday, India also test-fired its Prithvi 2nd and Agni 1st short-range ballistic missiles from Chandipur, Odisha. While Prithvi 2 has a 350-kilometer range, Agni 1 has 700-kilometer range. Both form a critical part of India's nuclear deterrent arsenal. It was tested under Strategic Forces Command supervision and meeting all technical parameters as well. From diplomatic victories against Pakistan-backed terror to major defense upgrades at home, India is sending out a strong and clear message. It is vigilant and ready. Well, imagine being a teenager and having the rights to not just go anywhere or do anything, but political rights as well. The right to vote, the right to elect the government of your choice, a right to have a say in nation building in some way or the other. In the United Kingdom, this might soon turn into a reality, with the UK government planning to grant 16 and 17-year-olds voting rights in all elections across UK. This election bill, if approved by Parliament, could be a major overhaul for a modern democracy like the United Kingdom, in terms of not just unlocking a new voter base for competing parties, but also giving the youth more power and agency in important decisions made regarding a country's future. This also reportedly marks the biggest change to Britain's electorate since the voting age was reduced from 21 in 1969, a move that will bring UK's national elections in line with Scotland and Wales. That's according to the government. But that is about UK, what I just told you. The question is, what about India, the world's oldest democracy? Should 16 and 17-year-olds in India be allowed to cast a vote? Will it be an empowering move for the youth in the country? Or will it just get reduced to a token act? In India, the legal age to cast a vote is 18 years, reduced from 21 years in 1989. What about the legal age to marry and settle down? Well, it's 21 years for men and 18 years for women. The legal age to work as early as 14 years, according to Child Labour Prohibition and Regulation Act 1986. In India, the youth aged 15 to 29, that age group make up a major portion of the workforce. with many joining offices and workplaces as young as just 16 or 17. So, if one is thought to be old enough to work or even pay taxes, the question is, shouldn't they also get a shot at electing their leaders, have a say in how policies are framed, and even perhaps deliberate on areas their hard-earned money should be spent on? While lowering voter age from 18 to 16 was once a topic of discussion in 2011, unfortunately, nothing much came out of it, with the Election Commission sticking to 18 years as the permissible age for voting here in India. Perhaps right now, it's time to revisit the rules once more and give those under 18 a genuine chance to air their concerns and voice their opinions and political choice with confidence. Well, in other news, China's top intelligence agency has publicly accused unnamed foreign spy networks of trying to steal rare earth materials from the country. China's Ministry of State Security made the statement earlier today through an online post warning that such acts threaten national security and sovereignty. The Chinese intelligence agency claims that foreign intelligence services have been attempting to smuggle these critical rare earth materials through illegal networks inside China. According to the post, operatives have worked with domestic accomplices to extract rare earth elements by disguising them in a parcel shipments and exporting them under false labels. Tactics included, to name some, hiding powders in ceramic tile ingredients and transporting materials in water bottles marked as mechanical parts. Beijing has treated rare earths as a strategic commodity for years now. These minerals are essential for manufacturing a wide range of goods, including electric vehicles, consumer electronics, and military hardware. Now, with China holding a dominant position in the global rare earth market, controlling approximately 60% of mining and nearly 90% of refining capacity, any disruption triggers serious geopolitical friction. Chinese officials only recently agreed to resume reviewing export applications for all these materials, and that decision followed diplomatic negotiations with the US aimed at easing ongoing trade tensions. Both the countries struck a deal just last month. China would restart its licensing procedure for rare earth exports, and the US would ease some restrictions on advanced AI chips. While China refrained from identifying the countries behind these smuggling attempts, it alleged that any one foreign entity tried to stockpile rare earths by falsely declaring the origin and nature of shipped goods. The ministry further urged citizens to remain on high alert and report any suspicious behavior tied to the handling or movement of rare earth elements in China. Now, all these developments come amid signs that tensions between US and China may be easing, with the two sides reportedly exploring the possibility of a broader agreement, which perhaps could include a formal meeting between US President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping this year. Just last week, US Secretary of State Marco Rubio said that there is, and I'm quoting here, high probability that Trump and Xi will meet this year.